Hello to whoever comes across this video. So I just wanted to talk about the concept of communicating with the universe and communicating with your spirit guides and your ancestors, God, your spiritual team, what have you. Because it's something that I've noticed, and those of you who might watch this that are a little bit more spiritually evolved, you already know what I'm talking about. But one of the ways that our spiritual team communicates with us is through music, and that's, I think, my favorite way of receiving messages through my spiritual team, or at least one of my favorite ways. And it's so crazy because, like, there was something that happened a few days ago, and before it happened, I think either earlier that day or the day before, I was praying and I was, talking to my spiritual team and asking them, like, please, like, reinforce, just wanting to reinforce my relationship with them, and like asking them to, reopen that, because you have to keep asking, or you have to keep giving permission to your spiritual team, particularly like your spirit guides. You have to keep giving them permission. You have to make sure that you keep that portal open of communication, and you have to make sure that you give them permission to help you when it comes to your spirit guides, your angels, things of that sort. Because otherwise, they operate under this divine law where, like, they can only help you if you give them permission to. I feel like someone's watching this right now thinking that, like, I sound crazy, but hey, you either believe in it or you don't. I see angels as an extension of God. Even in the Bible, they talk about how angels are messengers of God. So that's simply what I see it as. It's not anything super complicated. Okay, so y'all, I just had caffeine, so I'm talking kind of fast. Gotta slow down. So going back to what I was originally speaking on, is I was talking to my spiritual team, asking my spirit guides to, reinforce that communication, let me know that you are here, give me signs, give me guidance right now. And yeah, so I did that. And then, like I said, either later on that day or the next day, I noticed that there was this song stuck in my head, and I was like, and nowadays, like, whenever a song is stuck in my head, like, I know that that's communication that's happening. So there was a song that was stuck in my head, and I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, what is, I was like, why is this song randomly stuck in my head? Because it's a song from, like, the 90s. And I haven't listened to it in a long time. And I was like, why is this song stuck in my head? And the name of the song is 257 Weeks by a band called 9 Days. And if you don't know who 9 Days is, who they are, if you've ever heard the song Story of a Girl, this is the story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. And why she looks so sad in photographs, I absolutely love her when she smiles. That's 9 Days. Okay, and I believe on that same album, I could be wrong, but possibly on that same album, there's a song called 257 Weeks. And it's just so crazy because I never listened to that song, and it's such an old song. But I was like, okay, this song is stuck in my head, and I was like, let me look up the lyrics. And the lyrics are saying something like, I already forget, but because I didn't even know the lyrics all that well, but it was saying something about, like, you could be waiting for a day that won't come. That's something that they say a few times in the song. You could be waiting for a day that won't come. And as soon as I read that, and like on the rest of the lyrics, like I started crying, because, like, it was just so, it applies so much to it applies so well to what's happening in my life right now. You could be waiting for a day that won't come. I think, like, I don't want to get too much into it, but, like, I think it was my spiritual team trying to tell me, like, stop procrastinating on doing certain things. Yeah, among other messages that I was getting from that. But yeah, and it, so in a nutshell, that song was stuck in my head, and I was like, okay, I'm noticing this. I looked up the lyrics, because I didn't know the lyrics, and sure enough, there was a message in there, and it helped. And I got a message from my spiritual team after asking them for a message. And again, I know it might sound delusional and you can say it's a coincidence or whatever, but for me, this has happened to me too many times for me to just like write it off as a coincidence. Um, Sometimes other people even send us messages through songs. But anyway, other people like in our lives. But anyway, that's a whole kind of other topic. Um, but so I say all this to say that for anyone watching this who wants to be in better communication with their spiritual team, that's something to pay attention to, especially after asking them for more communication, after asking them, please help me, please guide me. Songs, lyrics, things like that, this is one of the ways that they communicate with us. And that's just, just pay attention to stuff like that. If you're wanting more communication with your spirit guides, pay attention to the songs that get stuck in your head. Pay attention to even like, driving in the car and like, I mean, that's a little bit more complicated. Like the more that you initiate the communication with your spirit guides, the better you'll get at picking up on their messages. But like what I would say is that like, if you're in your car and you notice the clock says 11:11, like maybe like listen to like what you're hearing on the radio or whatever you're listening to, like listen, or the music, like listen to like whatever lyrics you're hearing at the time that you see 11:11. That's like kind of how they get our attention with stuff like that. But again, another way is like, I had that song that was stuck in my head and I was like, huh, that's so weird. Like, why is the song stuck in my head? It was so random. And yeah, so I decided to look into it, and sure enough, like there was a message for me in that song, and it's such a good song. I love 9days. um I really love that band. But yeah, I think that was pretty much all I wanted to say, and I'm really impressed that I kept that under 10 minutes. Um, but yeah, that was pretty much it. Just wanted to share that. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.